This is Royal G, the man who has conquered both the Sheriff to Radiant and Ghost to Immortal challenges. His next quest is Frenzy to Immortal. Your mom's favorite streamer wants to take arguably the statistically worst gun in Valorant to one of the highest ranks in existence. But is this possible, or is it throwing? I mean, surely a bunch of silvers with Vandals can dumpster on a guy who can only do this. Can Royal G hit Immortal by only using a Frenzy? Yes, he can. Let me show you why. I have gotten so sick and tired of players making the same stupid mistakes that I've decided to partner with former world champion Screwface to launch our own bootcamp for aspiring pros at Top Frag, which includes a free community that anyone can join. We host about 7 calls a week in the Discord covering 3 topics: Valorant, aim, and performance coaching. These sessions are led by Tier 1 and Tier 2 professionals to ensure quality. All of that is free and always will be. But if you're Iron through Ascendant and are serious about ranking up fast, we've also built a rigorous program called the Invitational. Here, you get 2 one-on-one onboarding calls, a strategy session with a pro coach, and a personalized practice schedule. We also pay you to get better! I'm talking $75 skin bundle prizes for our biggest rank ups. But there's only 100 seats, so you need to move fast as they're filling up quick. So use my code Teets to get $50 off sign up and your entire first month for free. Just don't tell Screwface that I'm doing that. Don't you want to get better at Valorant? Click the link in the description. The Frenzy sucks ass. It's a machine pistol that should only be sprayed when your target is up close, essentially making it a worse shorty. Sure, the shotgun is only good for 1 kill, but the Frenzy doesn't shoot fast enough to get 2 either. Then at 450 credits, it makes buying utility and pistol awkward. Your plan with the Frenzy should be to close the distance on your opponent, but if you can't afford the ability to do that, then what's the point? Just go classic half armor to increase your survivability. There's a reason why this weapon is statistically the least bought in the game. So, if Royal G wants to rank up using this god-awful gun, he's going to have to pick the perfect agent to abuse its, strengths. Omen! But why this spooky ghost boy? Well, there's 3 reasons. Firstly, his teleport should allow him to close the distance in on his enemies and abuse the Frenzy's fast fire rate and high magazine size. Second, his paranoia. It's big, fast, and I think still the best ability in the game. It'll remove the range advantage his opponents have on him and make farming kills easier. And third, smokes are Royal G's new best friend. Think about it, he can play inside and around them, plus they once again reduce the gap between him and his enemy. Each and every one of Omen's abilities plays into a Frenzy-only playstyle. Plus, here's Royal G's literal reasoning for picking Omen, so pause the video if you want to give this a rate. I mean, you could argue that Harbor would be better, but even after his rework, he still sucks ass. Now, not only does Royal G's agent matter, but also his positioning. A, Art, and B aren't great spots to play because each require you to take long-range fights in order to succeed. So throughout the entirety of this defensive half, you'll see him play Street. The entrance to this area is a tight, narrow choke that should allow him to chew through the offense, taking them on one at a time. Royal has each piece of his run meticulously thought out and is min-maxing every inch. But no matter which way you cut it, buying a substantially worse weapon than a rifle is going to cost your team. So throughout this match, I'm going to tally how many rounds Royal G has cost his team, and at the end, ask my connection at Riot whether or not that number is high enough to constitute throwing and get him banned. Let's start with the most important round of the game for him, Pistol. The offense are prepared to slam B while the defense are leaned that way with their Killjoy and Fade anchoring A with their bots. Round 1 begins with the attackers charging through lobby like no one even flashes or smokes to break someone's crosshair. Well, lucky for the offense, who I'm going to dub the 67ers from here on out because that's Royal G's biggest fear. I asked him. Both of the Royal Guard's duelists are hiding. Keep in mind, this is a diamond game. Top 5%. I'm seeing Immortal gun buddies. Take fights, you cowards! Whatever. As the 67ers run it down, Royal G hears the stampede and tries to make it to his team in time. Okay, how come no one killed Reyna sooner? She shot her gun. But more importantly, Royal G has punished this brain-dead race for pushing spawn before clearing sight and has leaked out behind pillar. KO's on his right, Cloves on his left. And Omen above him. What's his next move? Royal G found a timing to make it in the halls, the perfect range for a Frenzy, and took 2 down. But in the end, it was his counterpart's aggressive shenanigans that secured the 67ers the round. Nothing crazy happened on the offense as anti-eco, but I do think it's kind of funny watching a guy go Frenzy full armor. I mean, what else is he gonna buy? Does that mean that every round is a full buy for Royal G? Regardless, he died to a rain alert on round 2, and on round 3, his jet baited him so hard that I wanted to scream.
Running through.
Oh, they're like right next to me.
Well, yeah, we gotta fight it way earlier. Just gotta find the entrance.
And of course, she kept swinging. I hate duelist mains. In the end, the better guns won out. But it's on round 4 where we start to see this frenzy-only limitation become a problem. The 67ers went A and accidentally pulled off some Paper Rex-esque Raze entry by smoking off Art, Flower, and Dugout. Raze flew in and landed behind the smoke, and the Royal Guard had no idea.
3 for me. Ult's ready.
This created a 2 versus 1, but Royal G couldn't trade the art lurk. He wasn't able to control this slippery dragon and has given Clove extra HP, faster movement, and a ton of time to reposition. With a rifle, this round would be over, but now it could go either way. They end up walking all over the map, and Reyna catches a lucky timing on Clove while they're trying to plant. 4 rounds in, and Royal G's frenzy hasn't cost his team anything. Maybe this pistol isn't so bad. And this round, it should find some action. It looks like the offense are turning their attention towards mid in their 1-2-2, which is where Royal G's frenzy waits to feast. But why are the defense stacked towards long? Don't they know the offense are on an eco? Maybe instead of twirling our knives around in the buy phase, I don't know, maybe we think? Round 5 begins with KO flinging a pretty bad knife into mid, which in return forces out a smoke from Royal G. But then the attackers turn tail to rejoin their teammates on long. A Clove snags an ult orb, Reyna spots Raze and her Marshall, and Fade lands a haunt that confirms a second person is long. And now with Killjoy, her bots, and Royal G not receiving any real pressure throughout the entire round thus far, the defense know that it has to be B. And with a 3-stack here, the pistol should have a hard time getting through. But the offense have no idea that they're about to run into most of the defense. Raze lobs her paint shells to pin Reyna back. Clove drops their smokes, but dies to Jet. She, like every duelist I've ever met, continues to swing, but can't find the Marshall. And now Royal G does not want his team to throw, so he deploys an anti-throw smoke, but that won't stop Jet. She can't read. Some of you might call that unlucky, which makes some of you stupid. Jet's team is up a player and has better weapons, meaning the only way your team can lose is if she walks into this smoke and dies to spam. So why do it in the first place? I mean, I know why, I just don't want to get canceled. Lucky for the Royal Guard, Reyna's gotten one from elbow and has dodged Raze's rocket. But pylon extra reinforcements, and the defense should be okay now.
Pardon their wishes.
Did Royal bait the shit out of Fade? Honestly, it's a lot tougher call than you think. The right play would have been to get out. I mean, Royal tried telling Fade to do so if you listen to his comms. But on the other hand, I've always said that making the wrong play together is better than making the right play separately. Well, that changes if you're only using the frenzy. From this range, our protagonist isn't hitting the broadside of a barn. So swinging here probably makes this a 1 versus 2 favoring the 67ers. Plus the defense had the spike and another smoke to refresh the choke. Now, if Royal had a rifle, that changes things. But does this mean that this is the first round that the frenzy only rule costs his team a round? He sends out a smoke to block out the attackers, and without a flash, how are the offense going to get through? Okay. Why not just white out the smoke? Through 5 rounds, Royal G is top fragging, and his frenzy hasn't cost his team any rounds so far. Either diamond lobbies are atrocious, or this guy's a god. On the following round, the offense slammed A behind Kale's no command. Jet punished the offense's bad spacing and stopped the rush by bagging this first blood, but then went for more. Like, you can literally see the second she steps back and thinks, should I swing into 4 people? And dies. But it was while the offense were planting that Fade unleashed her Nightfall, allowing the main character of our story to do this. Royal G picked the perfect time and pathing to flood out from this smoke. As soon as Fade's ult hits, the enemies are decayed for half their HP, so they're extra squishy. They're also deafened, so they can't hear Royal charging at them. And by immediately running into backside, he minimizes potential duels he'd have taken Church and just run over Clove instead. And now if he has a Vandal, maybe he has the confidence to clear KO harder? Or maybe he was just following Fade's trail from her ult. I'll cut him some slack and not count that round towards a frenzy's fault, because that is a good fight that it should take. But in the next round, the offense went B and Royal tried flooding out from street, and he thought his paranoia hit. Again, not the Frenzy's fault. Now, if only I could say the same about this round. The offense are slamming A, but have one of their two controllers lurking mid. Maybe Royal G will finally get some action through this door.
Hey, yo!
But hold on. What on earth is the attackers buy? Omen, Raze, buy your teammates! Well, while KO, Reyna, and Omen are arguing at the buy barrier, Tully is sprinting up A main behind the information from his team's 0 point. The defense don't see anyone B or mid, but they definitely hear Raze.
Got him. Grenade.
I respect the fact that you want to make space, but why not wait for your KO to lob a flash and get the defense off the line? Or a smoke for you to land in like last time. Royal G tagged Raze midair before she was finished off by Killjoy. But more importantly, the defense have flood out behind Royal Smoke, and the Frenzy's nestled itself into one of the best spots in the game. No, seriously, like, nobody clears this. But before the offense can take another step, they hear their Clove screaming from Connector that they found a timing. So as they creep out into water, the attackers step back, and the main smoke fades. Royal G and KO awkwardly exchange looks before each tucks into cover. Royal refreshes the smoke out in the open, and KO flashes nobody for his Reyna to get across safely. Now, it's been about 20 seconds since Raze airdropped the defensive Vandal, so Jet's getting suspicious. But she doesn't expect Clove! This is a disaster for the Royal Guard. Not only could the offense be practically anywhere, but Royal G has to walk around the map with a frenzy. At least that's what you thought. Royal G has stopped the attackers, but Clove heard him ult. They're calling the rest of the squad back to an open A, but Royal communicates to his Reyna that B is gone quiet. So she's ready to take down the lurk. She's now sprinting to A, hoping to stop the plan early, but the attackers are already here and take her down. And now Royal has to re-clear and retake all of this with the frenzy. This isn't winnable, right? Wow. Both teams are on another full buy, and they're in similar setups. Jet's on double door with Royal G this time, which isn't that bad for our hero. Jet braindead peeks mid, dies, the offense think nobody else is street, and then Royal G farms. Probably won because the frenzy sucks eggs. And now the offense are going A, but have their Clove position to lurk mid, while Reyna is trying to start a fire in her head by rubbing her two brain cells together. The round starts with the offense taking their time, while the defense are proactive by haunting A and peeking from door. That kill has anchored the defense at 2 players apiece. But the attackers are heading towards Royal Guard Sentinel. As the offense advances, Royal G smokes the choke, but then turns his attention towards Clove.
You are powerless.
Royal doesn't feel confident peeking such a narrow angle and backs down to help his team. But Clove hears these footsteps and follows suit. In the meantime, Tully tries to fly overside again, but gets swatted. Then KO follows and gets 2. It's a 2 versus 4 with A belonging to the offense. How can a frenzy bring this back?
Not ready yet.
Still in sight. Still in sight. My ult ready.
They did it! Royal G bursted his frenzy perfectly to find the first 2 kills, while his Reyna burned 2 flashes to take 0 duels. Production duels! Clove just slow walked into a crosshair, and Omen thought he had the time to blind her, but he didn't. Now, throughout the rest of the half, Royal G didn't see a whole lot of action. On round 10, he got in position to swing off Killjoy's spot, and then died in a 2 versus 5. Then on round 11, he just didn't expect the Clove lurk. Finally, on the last round of the half, Royal died in a 2 versus 4 retake, where I wish he smoked on top site, blinded and TP'd into it instead of doing this.
Spike planted.
Cover going out.
I'm blinding default in this side. Blinding default.
At least making a play like this closes the distance between you and the enemy. Anywho, going into the second half, Royal G is tied for third frag, and I have to admit, just because he isn't throwing with a frenzy, that doesn't mean that he's not hurting his team. Think about it. Just because you only play close quarter combat and not make bad plays with a short range weapon, that doesn't mean you're not putting your team at a disadvantage. I mean, don't you think it'd be a good idea to spray through your smokes with a Phantom as a controller? Or take a long range fight from behind screen with an op and teleport away? But by limiting yourself to frenzy only, you're also limiting the number of chances you have to get kills. It sounds stupid when I say it like this, but just because you're not throwing with the gun, that doesn't mean that you're not throwing. But at the same time, he is constantly dropping extra rifles or ops to his teammates. I mean, if I never had to save, I'd love having Royal on my team, especially because he's generally a higher rank with every other gun. His fragging ability might have gotten nerfed, but his game sense is still there. So in the end, one could argue that this balances out to be a fair match, regardless of how many frenzies he's buying. Hopefully that made sense, because now after no one cleared out this Omen from a smoke on the second half pistol round,
Oh, he's already...
Royal G is his team's only hope with his frenzy and full armor, which honestly matches up pretty well with how many outlaws are in the meta. This sniper is stupid broken. But in his team's 2-3 split, he's not running into it. His squishy teammates are. Can the armored frenzy come up big? Well, the anti-eco begins with a deep KO knife on A that pushes the offense back and finds 2 tags. In the meantime, Royal and Jet are contacting down mid. But there's one factor that we're forgetting. The defense are playing against an eco and they want to pad their KD. Believe it or not, but this full armor pistol buy is something that we see pro teams do all the time. After losing pistol, and with enough credits, teams will usually load up their duelist with a stinger and full armor. This allows their team to make an aggressive play and take the defense off guard when their opposition doesn't just melt away. Keep in mind, this is primarily done on attack where players are normally grouped and can deathball together, but not so much on defense because naturally you're more spread to hold every choke. And here, it worked! Royal has found his team 2 win conditions in mid, but now both sides need to make a hard decision. Play for the guns or hold your positions. Well, after getting out, Royal tells his team this.
I killed 2 mid, but I don't know where anyone else is around mid. I feel like they're gonna start like leaning back towards mid though. So if you guys want to like group up somewhere and go, or we can.
Let's go B. Go smoke A. He's probably gonna
They're grouping to go B, but the defense aren't moving. Michael's confident that his Marshal can ruin the defense since Royal was probably the only one with armor. He moves up and grabs the orb before backing down. Bro, your street is open. You have to fight one or the other to prevent being pinched. Oh, okay, never mind. He's coming back.
It is ready.
With 1 HP, Royal gets a third. With a frenzy! But how did that second no-scope not hit, and why is the Marshal this accurate? Same for the Outlaw. Aren't these supposed to be snipers? Regardless, B is free for the taking, but with 1 HP, Royal G still feels like he needs to make a play. And because Omen was pushed that far up, and his Reyna has made it in the connector safely, rotates have to be far. They won't hear this teleport into heaven. That kill has put Clove smack dab in the middle of a 3-person crossfire. Surely the Royal Guard don't botch this one, right?
Here, catch! Alright. Drop in a smoke. Ha! I'll see yous in a minute.
The reason why teams make these types of buys after losing pistol is because if they somehow win and pull a frenzy ace out of their ass, the enemy team has to save, allowing you to tack on another round. Even if it fails, someone on your team just takes the hit next round. Most of the times it's a support since they're usually in the back using utility for their team. Here, the 67ers are forced to save. But in ranked, that doesn't always mean a guaranteed win. Like here, the offense are bound together to go A, while the defense are grouped to fight mid as 3. The round starts and KO waits a second this time before flinging his Kay's knife, tagging multiple bogeys. This suppression has scared off our main character and his Reyna to re-clear club and mid, while most of the offense are sticking around to create pressure. Fade releases a Prowler, which forces out Raze's paint shells. By the way, if you ever find yourself in a situation where your team's push gets stopped and you don't really know what to do what Royal G did and quickly start re-clearing parts of the map. Otherwise, you're going to run into a stack. Both teams are at each other's necks, but after a bit of spam, smoke refresh, and second Prowler, the Royal Guard starts slowly backing out. But wait, Reyna, it's Nico! Where are you going? Through that small vent? Not your fat ass. KO better not expect you. This game has been out for 6 years, and I'm still explaining this. Against ecos, you don't want to wander off on your own, because if you do die, you gift the enemy team a win condition. The 67ers now have 2 rifles, one of which Royal and the Spike are headed towards. Royal smokes Heaven and Killjoy Nano's left, which forces Michael to teleport. That's another free sight for the offense. But look at Jet. Instead of regrouping with her team, she's taken a solo detour in the mid and gets crunched. That's another rifle for the defense. This once easy anti-eco has turned into a disaster for the Royal Guard, and all Royal has is a frenzy. He has to make a play, so he decides to hop into his dark cover and prep his paranoia. Royals made it out, but also, why are we running at Omen Smoke? We have a ton of time, why not wait it out? Regardless, Royal and Fade now have a crossfire, which isn't as strong because he only has a frenzy.
We'll catch them.
Now, it's just our streamer. With 2 teleports and the smoke active, he has to go big.
40 on range.
No, I dinked him.
The offense is on a half by, like, Reyna, Killjoy, why aren't we buying up with our team? The defense have a couple guns missing too. Like, surely we're not opting for Spectre full armor over rifle and half armor, right? And what's our plan? The defense are leaving B butt naked while the offense are running away from A before the round even starts? Is this really what Diamond's like? It's not like they're talking. Whatever. Welcome to Ranked! When the buy barriers drop, everyone's just kind of walking around. Clove peeks door for a second, but then runs away. Maybe that was a bait for Reyna. I guess Jet was too distracted by the noise Raze was making to notice Reyna. And knowing that a trade should be close, Raze bombs market and retreats to pick up B. I mean, mid's been quiet, and on A, KO's knife hasn't found any tags for once. Maybe that's why the attackers took a step back at the start of the round, but I mean, come on, he can't knife you that deep. But this process of elimination is making the defense think that the offense are headed B. But the 67ers are wrong, and I think KO's starting to realize it. He pivots back and makes it in a back sight, but doesn't realize that main hasn't been watched, and that the attackers could be up. So he falls and the offense flood in. This distraction has given Royal G the confidence to move up, smoke, and he hears Reyna running. So he waits for a second to let her think that the coast is clear before inserting himself into connector. But his Reyna has been punished for pushing up too far. With a lurk like this, the attackers shouldn't be taking duels, they should be trying to buy Royal G time. So Fade and then Killjoy sprint off site and plan on spamming the diffuser in hopes that Royal G can blindside the defense.
Come on.
Oh my god. There's multiple here, just careful.
One enemy
Nice.
remaining.
He's not defusing, he's not defusing.
Close to me.
Nice shot.
Royal might not have a rifle, but what he does have is a brain. Notice how he's extremely picky about the fights that he takes. He understands that it's not about the kills, but instead the pressure. By just staying alive, he lingers in the back of the defense's mind, knowing that Royal could swing at any moment. These mind games drags the attention off his teammates and helps them win. I mean, let's be real. Royal's not winning this church fight with a frenzy. Might as well shake his booty a bit instead. But at the same time, why didn't the defense just smoke the spike, tap, and wait for the offense to peek into them? That is what you're supposed to do in most retakes. The frenzy threw the round for Royal next round. His team went A, he was ready for Clove to brain dead swing out of the smoke, but because this gun hits like a wet noodle, he died.
You are still committing. Oh shit. Okay, I'm smoking this off. He's low.
I mean, with the recent release of the Bandit, why bother with this thing? Then on the round after that, the guards duelist ran it down A, dumped on Clove's head, and ran it into spawn, making it 3 versus 4. Raze tried flooding in behind her Roombot, so Royal wanted to take advantage of knowing Raze's position. I was expecting more of these plays from the frenzy-only guy. Now, throughout 19 rounds of using nothing but this stupid pistol, Royal G is standing tall at the top of this diamond lobby with 20 kills and 10 assists. If his team's going to make a comeback, it has to start with him. They're 5-manning A again, but are really worried about KO's knife. He's gotten so many surprises this game that the offense have been forced to start playing around it. When does he fling this thing? Not instantly. Instead, KO runs up and right-clicks a flash. This takes the offense back, but now they know that KO's here, and doubling back and clearing the rest of the map would cost a lot of resources. So the guard pause, wait for the knife, but KO knows they're waiting. 10 seconds in, and the suppress goes off, attacking our main man. The attack cannot advance without their smokes and have to pause. But look at Clove, they're on the guard's trail. But Royal's decision-making is radiant level. After being suppressed, he wastes no time and immediately pivots. But is he expecting the flank? How far did you want to peek, Clove? That death has cost your team like 80% of the map. Royal G doesn't know it, but his team could go anywhere. Instead, he clears out the rest of window and walks towards B while a Clown Fiesta is happening on A. A useless Prowler, KO Flash, and then Raze does this. Maybe we swing with our KO Flash? So you know the enemy can't see you do this? And where's your gun? Why aren't you buying? Okay, well, now that they're up a player and Royals inserted himself into mid, the attackers feel okay to slow down. With so many holes on the map, this should spread the defense out. Their plan now is to contact up A and burst, but KO jump spots and catches the offense off guard. And where's the spike going all by itself? Royal at this point is begging his team to cut noise, smoking off the just discovered KO, knowing that he's found a gap in street. He can backstab the defense, but Jet mains are idiots.
Finished.
Why are we just walking out on our own when Royal is begging you to stop? Listen to him.
I'm gonna smoke him off on that side. Just wait. I want us to like chill.
What's here?
One's close.
Yeah, I'm walking. Wait, just stay alive. Stay alive, please, please. Don't peek. Don't peek. Don't peek.
And Fade, please don't. Okay, thank you. She wants to sell the hardest fake imaginable so the defense are focused on her and not Royal, so she unleashes her Nightfall. But then Reyna dies with a spike. Why are we running so confidently? And Fade ults from the wrong side. She gets shot while trying to cross over. This 4 versus 3 has now turned into a 1 versus 3, and the 1 has a frenzy. Can Royal G save his team?
Can I TP this in time?
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
I'll get that.
Dang it.
Had Royal made this teleport play sooner, he has a good chance of winning this round since his opposition would have to travel so far. And this play sort of proves Royal's message earlier to me when he talked about how he's not entirely confident playing agents that can make the most out of the frenzy. Now, should this type of content get you banned? Probably not. My Riot contact said no. But match fixing would for sure. I broke down one of those games in this video right here. It is so bad, you need to see it. Click it.